please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic? Hello everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a great day today. We're going to be continuing the really weird, odd, disjointed, cringy, creepy conversation between Just a Robot and Bo Blacks.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, they won the Super Bowl. Yeah. I actually am planning to take my roommate loves EDP, and I'm planning to take him to the EDP memorial.
I'm going to be that person and state if there are memorials for PDFs, if there are memorials even as a joke for someone like EDP, no, optics-wise, this is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard in my life, and it's dangerous enough for me to mention EDP on YouTube, because people get their videos flagged for it. I can't risk a strike right now.
Is he dead?
No. It's the area he got exposed. You can look it up on Google Maps. EDP Memorial, it takes you to where EDP got caught.
Just out of curiosity, why? Are you going there because that's the only place you can get 13-year-old cupcakes? Are you going to also go there to reenact the scenario? Since you, Just a Robot, can hold more weight, I assume you'll be the EDP cosplayer, as you have an avatar for it as well.
That's funny.
Yeah, we're gonna smoke some EDP. No, not EDP. We're gonna smoke some 445 when we get there.
You're gonna smoke some Australian bushfires? You can tell I don't understand this young people speak, and I'm not a smoker either.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, I'm obsessed with the EDP. Like, the cupcake line. And I'm going to be honest here. I think there was a way. Now it's too late, but there was a way that EDP could have gotten out of it. You want to hear it?
Yes, but only because I know it's going to be really stupid. And I say that because anyone that's willing to try and logic a way out, mental gymnastics a way out, in hindsight, to find a way to allow EDP the opportunity to simply limit the damage that they had done to their own content, their channel, their reputation, is going to be quite something.
Sure.
Okay, just pretend to be the poachers and say that you have screenshots of me talking to the 13-year-old girl.
No, I'm not gonna roleplay.
Oh, okay, I'll just do it. They could have came up to him, and he could have been like, oh, how are those pictures of my shit? Because, like, it almost seemed like he was, like, knew they were grown men. Sending, like, what kind of guy hits on a girl by sending her a picture of his shit? Like, if I was the poachers, I would have saw that picture of his shit and been like, he's on to us.
You know, that would have been something worth exploring if he wasn't a filthy nonce. Straight up. The moment he was nabbed, the internet being what it is, the weapon, the black-pilled landscape that it is, it would not have cared for anything he would have said, and it would have hammered him regardless. Now he has, Mr. 445, carved out a little corner for themselves to continue being themselves. Congratulations. Has the lesson been learned? No. Why? Because everything was fluffed up and they're still a nonce. Would that have worked back then? The poop picture thing? One can never be too sure when it concerns denizens of the internet.
He knows, like, we're not actually a 13-year-old girl. We're just trying to pull an op on him. It's over, guys. He knows.
Well, pedophiles are stupid. So.
Well, everybody
thinks it is. There's types of pedophile. It's like the difference between, like, a serial killer and, like, someone who's just, like, gonna rage out and, like, kill someone, like, super spontaneously, right?
Yeah. It's like
the dumbs and the smarts.
Yeah, like Epstein. Epstein was the smart. Like, he...
Yeah, there's the Epsteins and the EDPs, you know?
Yeah, you got your Epsteins and your EDP.
Okay, well, now you're both making this conversation weird. I don't know how to feel about it.
So what did you hear about my drama, if you don't mind me asking?
Something about you supporting someone who had CP or something like that.
No, they didn't have CP. They were doing I won't lie, they were doing and I should have never made that defense video of them. I just was too focused on if they were a groomer or not, and I thought they were getting over punished for my perceivedness of them not being a groomer, but they basically sent
You need to rephrase what you're saying here, because actually what happened was you made multiple versions of a video that got leaked early because you shared it with others to review it, so you knew whether you were on the right side of history, not because you don't have your own opinion. And it turns out that the video was ill-informed because you didn't read the document that mattered the most, both Google documents, just to be clear. While you were defending and sucking off Cinnabar like there was no tomorrow, and flirting in a way very similar to that of this conversation with Bo Blacks, it can't be denied your video was one of the worst videos you've ever made in your entire time on the platform.
Animated, censored comic to a 14-year-old, and like later I found out, like this wasn't until later, but I later found out they were actually getting the 14-year-old to read it out, but in calls and but as far as I know, they didn't have any interest in the 14-year-old. They just had like no filter on who they talked to, and like someone did point this out to me. Whether they're a pedophile or not, whether they're a groomer or not, what they did is just so over the line that you should have never made this video in defense of them.
Agreed. You yourself had said you rely on your roommate to help you process information, but you were so desperate to get on top of something, no doubt because your channel at that time was going through a downward turn, that you pounced on it without giving much thought to the grander scope and to the information that needed to be put in between your ears. It doesn't matter how long it takes you to process something without someone there to help you. It really doesn't. If you cannot make an informed decision on something, or present informed opinions, perspectives, with the information that needed to be gleaned correctly and fully, then chances are you should have stayed away from it, and everything that happened since was entirely your fault.
And like, I agree with that, but like, the main thing that made this blow up is she decided to leak our DMs day one. I defended her where I said things like, want to see my cock, and then I sent a picture of a chicken, then she sent me a picture of her cat, and I went, nice pussy, so people put the simp allegations on me, and I was blown away. It was like, bitch, I was like your best hope of getting out of your not getting canceled, and you pulled this shit. What the hell?
I can promise you this, hand on a heart, you were not the best option. Because realistically, the only option that Cinny could have actually employed would have been to come out, say yes, I did this, take responsibility, and hopefully come back at another time. There's no burying head in sand and carrying on because the storm was too big. You're not a master tactician because it requires brain cells, and you have two of them fighting over third place. You might have had an argument with the conversation you had had with Cinny Bear, sure, if you hadn't spent the entire time just letting Cinny talk and not direct Cinny to some of the things that they needed to be open and frank about. Ultimately, bad tactics by everyone involved, but the thing that matters the most is that Cinny is a creep-ass MFer, not like Dexter, that was sending highly inappropriate art to an underage person.
Well, yeah, I mean, if someone were to do that, they would probably not stay loyal, even if you're defending. They seem very self-destructive if they're... Well, I mean, what the how? So you knew that he was doing the picture thing with the girl, but you're like, oh, it could potentially not mean it's sexual. It just means he does it with anybody regardless.
No. It was a she. It was a she.
This is just a fair use interruption. I have no choice. I have to do this. I will say that if you didn't know on the face of it, beyond the names, you would have also made the assumption, most people would have, that Cinnabear was male. Not justifying, it's just how an outsider would typically see something.
It wasn't a he, it was a she, and she was straight. And it was a censored porn, but still porn nonetheless. And I thought, and they were like going on for 6 months, and there's like no like there was like no escalation, just like chatting about this one thing, like no pictures exchanged between them and the other person, no nothing like that, just animated censored porn comic.
Yeah, I've blurred a word, well, I muted a word out of that. involving non-consensual activity in art form. And I'm going to say that if you're into that kind of stuff, you're a weirdo.
Well, it's about the environment the adult is fostering with the kid, not like
Exactly. You're
necessarily super technical things like, oh, was it technically an image or of
yeah.
not or
I was retarded, and I took the video down in like less than 2 days because I realized my mistake.
Years ago, my dear friend at the time, Ataraxia, a anti-SJW and skeptic clone like myself, made loads of videos, but this one in particular was made mocking what looked like an SJW. Actually, it was Sean Head in costume. Because he was drunk and unable to see my messages because sleep, he didn't find out until a day later, by which time Sean Head had annihilated him, and his channel went with it, to be honest. It never recovered, and that sucked. When you make a mistake, if your first response is not to be there for at least the first hour to gauge a response from your audience, you fail. Now, Ataraxia had a smart idea. After this, lingering for at least an hour after a video's upload and reading comments, gauging response. Do you do that? Because I could believe you don't. You didn't for 2 days. 2 days is far too long in the online space.
Yeah, well, people make mistakes, and that's fine.
Yeah,
Just, like realize it and move on. But the thing is, other people don't want to move on, especially if it's like profitable for them to make videos.
Oh, absolutely.
Where they linger, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But hey, I was the one who made the fucking mistake. I gotta live with it. What I did was stupid. It was retarded.
While I don't want to be the person that points out the obvious that people, yourselves included, take advantage of situations, it is the nature of commentary to highlight every discrepancy you can find. It's a part of the system. It's why Pegasus has had such a rise, taking full advantage of every available option to grow as quickly as possible and get as many views as possible. You two, no offense intended to either of you, have both benefited from this system as well. You've also benefited, Boblax has anyway, from knowing the right people when they were at their peak. In the case of Just a Robot, I have no earthly idea how Jar did it. The point is, we can look down on those who take advantage of situations for profit, but since we've all done that, there's no point trying to morally grandstand with it. So the point is therefore moot.
I knew there was a chance that this would go super wrong for me, but there was like, I just felt like, I don't think this is grooming, and if it's not grooming, I should call it out as not grooming. Like, because even if there was a 1% chance that they were not innocent, but not like a full-on groomer, that the right thing to do would have been to, risk my reputation to help them, and,
You got it wrong, and essentially they fall within the category of the word groomer. You're welcome.
That blew up in my face, and I just realized, I'm not the best person to talk about this topic. I'll let other people handle this.
Yeah, if you're asking the question if it's like borderline grooming or groomy, then it's grooming. Like, younger people are a lot more, they're influenced by the older people around them, right? So it's like just the environment you're fostering. And
I know.
Grooms them to either be...
Jar was right. He should have let people who had a better grasp and understanding of the situation to cover it, so they could take full advantage of it. Jar should have continued baiting out other people from anime communities, because that's where he is strongest. But hindsight is just that, though, isn't it? You're only right because of it.
The problem I have is, when you hear the word grooming, where does your mind go? Like, EDP 445 Cosmodor, that's immediately where your mind goes, and it's whatever, man. Like, I took the L on that drama. I'm just not going to talk about, like... if I am going to talk about it, I'm not going to defend someone who did it. I just have a soft spot for people. Like, yeah, I even have a soft spot for you, for what you're going through. Like, it's shitty, man.
Based on this disjointed conversation stretching into a third video, because I can't do this in one sitting, I'm inclined to believe that soft spot is a semi-spot. If we do a part 4 or 5, it'll be a full-on hard spot.
I guess. I mean, when you describe what happened with you, I really don't think I've done anything quite comparable to that.
Oh, no. I think what I did was worse. I just think what you did, like, I think I did the worst thing. You just did more small things.
Tell me, Boblax, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much are you enjoying being sucked off right now? And where on the doll have you been touched by Jar's words? I've never thought, because I know of false equivalences, to compare other people's problems, concerns, because then we'll create some kind of oppression Olympic of their own. I don't care for it. When we get to our age, none of you are young anymore, don't try me, we all carry what is considered the word baggage. We've all made mistakes. No one is exempt from that. I can promise you that. How we handle it defines it. Now, our jobs, if we don't have one away from this, that is to either entertain or present information. And I say either in that case because not one of us has much in the way of personality. Yes, we're all a bit devoid. Our mistakes, though, when they happen, they end up tearing apart the personality, leaving us a shadow of ourselves. Rebuilding is a lot harder. If it's worth it to you, you do it, because it matters. By the way, is Jar right with the smaller issues? I'm not so convinced, but let's see how Boblax handles it.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, like here's the thing. What I did was so stupid, incredibly retarded. But like, hey, I'm not going to defend someone like Vosh for having like lollies and horses and then saying I was imagining myself as the horse.
Yeah, I mean, you seem to come around in 2 days. Tipster has only come around on the Vosh thing in a year.
Yes, well, Tipster is a different kind of special needs. Tipster needed to learn a very harsh lesson that came when they then realized not a single person they had aligned with was there for them anymore. Oh, and that the person they were backing had zero credibility and relevancy, and that they were virtue signaling for some trap peen. Tipster is a disingenuous hack that managed to somehow get to 100,000 by simply re-uploading aspects, clips, shorts from live streams. If Tipster had stayed in their lane and carried on, they would have been fine. But no, Tipster had to scorch earth. Jar didn't have to worry too much about that part, because there wasn't much of a community around Jar on the online space anyway. And I say much of, not that there wasn't one, I mean those that, let's say, peers. There weren't too many in Jar's life. And that's not a dig, that is just a reality of it. But I guess a small consolation can be had from the fact that Jar did take 2 days as opposed to 365 and a quarter.
Here's the thing. You shouldn't defend, like, someone gave me this advice. Don't defend someone who can't defend themselves, because you're just going to get covered. You're just going to be brought down into the water with them.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, good advice.
Yeah. There's some other smaller stuff, but
it's good advice. And yes, I left all that awkwardness in just to get it up to 30 seconds. The advice is right. If they can't defend themselves, incapable of doing so, or they employ really crappy tactics, sometimes it's probably best not to insert yourself into it, because you will invariably end up becoming the wrong center of attention. I remember this happening to me when I took the side of Pyrocynical with the Ivory Rasmus stuff, and Turkey Tom and Edwin on Edwin's stream channel criticized me and my avatar, which was nice, for my stance. Oh, how history has painted that a rather interesting way, though, given enough time.
I think the other thing that the main thing people are mad at me for is oversharing, and I do have a bad problem with that. I'm sure you have a problem with that. Like, it's an autistic thing. But, you know,
I often find that it's less an autism thing. It's more of a, if you've come to the internet to make friends, to build a life, a community in the online space, it comes with being online because you have more of a life here as well. It's just coincidental a large number of them happen to have autism. For today's edition of us going through this, we've reached the end. I don't have enough time, sadly, with overtime that I'm doing away from this. So do let me know in the comments down below what you think. If I don't see you on Twitch later for Trading Card Shop Sim or Star Trucker, I don't know which, hope to see you there. If not, have a great day, guys, and thank you for listening.